NBC Sports puts all the pieces together, blending a tradition rich in memories with innovation and the latest in television technology. Great moments come alive on NBC Sports.
Baseball takes over, as most of you will see. The New York Mets, with the best record in the majors, going against the vastly improved Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field in the Windy City. Or some of you will see the world champion Minnesota Twins as they continue their winning ways in the AL West. Last night they beat Oakland and trailed by only 5 games, but American League home run leader Jose Canseco and the Athletics look to bounce back this afternoon. But first, NBC Sports presents Major League Baseball. An inside look brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken is home. And by the Miller Brewing Company, sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Centers. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marv Albert, and welcome back to our New York studios as we make the transition from tennis to baseball. And coming up on the pregame show, David Letterman will join us to conduct, well, a different kind of interview with Mets pitching sensation David Cone, kind of up close and perhaps a bit on the personal side, and a talk with Lou Piniella as he begins his second go-round as manager of the Yankees. And Lou's Yankees are trailing first place Detroit by 2 games in Toronto. They're now in the 4th inning. The Tigers lead the Blue Jays by the score of 4-1. The big blow, Gary Pettis with his 3-run home run in the second, his second homer of the season. Dave Steed going against Doyle Alexander. One other game underway at this hour at Fenway in the 7th. The struggling, feuding Red Sox and the Orioles are tied at 3 home runs for Eddie Murray and Cal Ripken. Now, of note, last night up at Yankee Stadium, Cleveland sensational relief man Doug Jones set a major league record with his 14th consecutive save. Jones and the Indians beat the Yankees 7-5. Jones with 18 saves in 23 appearances. So Lou Piniella is now 1-1 in his return as Yankee manager. And when we come back, we'll be talking with Lou Piniella as Billy Martin became the 5th Major League manager fired this season. For Billy, it is, of course, nothing new. We are looking at Wrigley Field in Chicago as the Mets and the Cubs get ready for Game 3 of their 4-game set. Vince Scully and Joe Garagiola will have it for you. And at the Coliseum in Oakland, some of you will be seeing the first-place Athletics and the world champion Twins with Ted Robinson and Tony Kubek at the mic. Well, this past Thursday, a tired act resurfaced. George Steinbrenner fired Billy Martin, Martin's 5th time around with the Yankees. Now, this time it was a combination of Martin's alleged drinking problems, his puzzling handling of the pitching staff, and his disagreements with the front office that did him in. This, after all, appeared to be harmonious when Billy returned for a 5th time last October.
And I know that every time I've been here, we've had a winner. And the last laugh is going to be mine.
But once again, Billy is gone. Lou Piniella is back as Yankee manager. This after resigning as general manager late last month. Many feel one of the reasons he resigned concerned the chaos and frustration involved in working with Billy Martin. I talked with Lou about that and other subjects. Did you talk to Billy before he left?
No, I haven't talked to Billy.
So he didn't wish you well?
I'm sure he's... he'd wish me well. I had nothing to do with Billy being removed as manager. In fact, for the past month, I haven't even been involved at all in the operations of the ball club. I've been in Buffalo, I've been in Columbus, I've been in Albany, and next week I had planned to take a trip down to Fort Lauderdale and take a look at the A-ball club. So it was surprising to me.
Do you feel sorry for Billy Martin?
Look, he's been a great manager, and he taught me a heck of a lot of baseball, and he got himself into some problems, but I really can't speak for Billy.
Are you merely an interim manager here?
No, I'm not an interim manager. I would have never come back under those circumstances. My contract was extended for a good period of time, and I'm very happy with that. And believe me, I'm far from interim.
Lou, is there such a thing, though, as a Yankee manager who, in effect, is not an interim manager?
I can't answer that. All I can do is say that I'm going to do the best job I can. I've had 2 years of experience here. I know the personnel in this ball club. I know the league well. In the 2 years I managed, there were a few managers in baseball who won more ball games than I did, than our ball club did. And Last year, the reason that I was removed here wasn't solely because the owner wanted to remove me. It was a mutual consent.
In that you weren't in your hotel room last year for that well-publicized phone call from George, which he harped on. The second time around, will you be carrying a portable phone with you?
No portable phones are necessary. In fact, my communication will be through the GM.
Through the GM. You will not talk to George directly?
Through the GM.
Where will Lou Piniella be this time next year?
Right here, behind this desk, hopefully with a team in first place and a world championship under our belt.
So, Sweet Lou is back in uniform. George Steinbrenner making it 15 managerial changes since taking control of the Yankees in 1973. That's the big baseball story this week, a week that was highlighted on the field by the explosive bat of Will Clark of the Giants. Wednesday against San Diego, Clark drove in a career-high 7 runs, 4 hits for the man they call the Natural to help the Giants put an end to their slumping ways. The most spectacular play of the week, Pittsburgh's second baseman Jose Lean, who has been at his acrobatic best, did it again. He went to his right to throw out a diving Tim Tuffle of the Mets. Then there was umpire Larry Poncino, who might have been charged with player abuse as he accidentally flipped the bat aside, hit Tom Brunansky of the Cardinals, who was able to shake it off. Some outstanding pitching performances this week. Roger Clemens came up with his Major League leading 6th shutout of the season. No one else even close in that department, although Roger was whacked around pretty good last night by the Orioles. And Greg Maddux of the Cubs beat the Mets on Thursday to make it a record of 13-3. He's the first 13-game winner in the majors. We close with the most creative base running of the week. Pitcher David Palmer of the Phillies did not have this in mind. Nice piece of running by David. Up next, we give David Letterman a chance to sharpen up on his interviewing skills as he prepares to make his return to late night next Tuesday. So Dave will chat with Met phenom David Cohn. All right, Dave, I know this is going to be good for you. I know you've been preparing for days.
I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, you know how I have prepared for this? I've been doing a lot of shoplifting in 7-Elevens, and then I ask for the videotape from the surveillance camera later, and I study it and see how I look and use it for makeup pointers and so forth.
Any particular questions that you've prepared?
I want to know if it would be possible for David Cohn, say his family came to the park, would it be possible for him to introduce them to Mookie Wilson with a straight face? You know, Mom, Dad, I'd like you to meet Mookie. I don't know.
Well, obviously, I feel I still can pitch. I mean, my fastball is not what it once was, and I prefer not to play on AstroTurf. I'd rather pitch on grass. But I still think I can contribute. I feel I could work with Lou. I could even work with Billy Martin. I mean, I work with Art Garfunkel, so I know what it's like to work under pressure.
I should point out Paul Simon spoke those words 2 years ago when it was Lou in and Billy out, and here we go again. Such are the cyclical fortunes of recycled men. You may want to jot that down. With the writer's strike in effect since early March, Late Night with David Letterman has been strictly a rerun city. So as a public service, and that Dave has not been in front of a camera in months and is undoubtedly stale, we here on the pregame show are providing an opportunity for him to get back to it. So earlier this week at Shea Stadium, we arranged for Dave to interview pitcher David Cohn, who has had a standout year for the New York Mets. He's emerged with a record of 9-1 coming off that victory over the Cubs yesterday afternoon. So here it is. Dave, I know it's been a while since your last
4 months,
TV
Marv.
appearance.
4 months since I've been on TV.
You have to pull yourself together. This will be good for you.
This would be a little training exercise for me.
Absolutely. This is David Cohn of the New York
David.
Mets.
Nice to see you.
David
How are
Letterman
you?
and Dave, good luck. It's all
Thank
yours.
you very much.
Right.
I used to have a television show on NBC.
Yeah, I watched it a couple of times.
Moderately successful.
Yeah, moderately.
Yes. Listen, Marv, we certainly enjoy those non-title bouts from Italy.
Thank you very
more
much.
of those, please.
More of the fight doctor also.
Yeah. So I thought what I'd do is I made some notes here, and we're just going to, like, do kind of a dummy interview. Is that all right?
That's fine with me.
Okay, are you relaxed?
Yeah, fairly relaxed.
Okay. As a boy growing up, you did grow up as a boy, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Did you have dreams of becoming a major league pitcher?
Yes, Dave, I did. I dreamed since the day I could pick up a wiffle ball bat that I'd play for the Kansas City Royals.
And you did, didn't you?
I actually did. I lived out that dream, and it didn't last too long. But
well, the problem was the wiffle ball bat.
That was it, yeah.
I don't think I've lost it, Marv. As a boy, I also had a dream. I dreamed that one day I would grow up and become a major league bullpen catcher.
That's an inspiring.
Yeah. All right, David, I have some questions for you here that I jotted down when I knew Marv was arranging this for us. Okay. First question. At the end of the season, thank you, do you get to keep your uniform?
Yeah, we do, as long as we promise not to sell it.
Not to sell it.
Yeah, we have to actually keep it.
Okay. All right.
That was a good one, Dave.
I don't have a follow-up for that.
That was good.
All right. Number 3 here. Would you ever say you're in a real tight game? Say you're working on a no-hitter like you were not too long ago. Would you ever consider throwing a game to avoid being on Kiner's corner?
You know, now that you mention it, I might have to give that some thought.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly seems to be the reasonable reply there. All right. Okay. Now here's one. This is like a story problem. In math, you'd have story problems. Who do you think weighs more now, Los Angeles Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda or Cincinnati Reds owner Marge Schott?
I think it's neck and neck right now.
Yeah, it is pretty close, isn't it?
It's a toss-up.
Yeah. Okay, number 5. Oh, this is good. You have to apply a little logic here. You and I have something in common. You grew up in Kansas City. I grew up in Indianapolis. You're playing Major League Baseball, and I used to have a television show. But we have something else in common. Do you know what that is?
Not right offhand.
Okay. When you and I work, when we both go to work, both of us wear a cup.
We both wear a cup, huh?
Yeah.
What's the purpose for you?
Oh, come on. You haven't seen the show, have you?
Yes, I have. Okay, I can.
Okay. All right, now, how are we doing on time, Marv?
We're closing in on
Okay.
conclusion.
Okay, I have one final question. This is another one I want you to think. Just let your mind run wild. Which would you rather have now? Now think about this seriously. A career-threatening injury. Think about it. You're 25. You're thinking you got the world ahead of you. You're looking at Cooperstown. Everything has fallen into place. But think about this. Would you rather have a career-threatening injury or Whitey Herzog's haircut?
I think I'd rather blow out my knee.
Coincidentally, Whitey blew out his hair, I believe. This has been great fun. Thanks, Marv.
And that Whitey does have a fine sense of humor. I know that he will not be upset with Dave Letterman or David Cohn. In this particular situation, merely an innocent bystander. And we are glad we're able to get Dave ready for his return to late night on Tuesday. Well, baseball is coming up here on NBC. Many of you will see the Mets and the Cubs from Chicago. Some of you will be watching the Twins and the Athletics from Oakland. I'm Marv Albert in New York. We'll be back with updates throughout the afternoon. Right now, let's go to the ballpark.